We are talking some Detroit Lions news and rumors for you folks today, and in this video, we're going to break it all down. We're going to be talking about, is Ben Johnson the best offensive coordinator in all of football? PFF believes so we're going to go over his, what he brings to the Detroit Lions and his ranking. Should the Detroit Lions sign Malik Willis if released by the Tennessee Titans, the quarterback that a lot of people talked about last year, good or bad? And the Lions' defensive line will be absolutely dominant in 2023. Guess we'll find out. But before we get into today's video, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions and you're not subscribed to the channel, it don't really make a lot of sense. Why? Because I talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors every single day, and we do it in a fun, comical way and informative. Without further ado, let's get this thing going. Go ahead and get to 300 likes in this video. I think it can happen. Really easy to do so. It just takes literally a second to hit that like button. It pushes the content out there, and I appreciate it. Is Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson the best OC in all of football? Well, PFF is showing some mad love to the Lions OC because they believe he is. They said, according to PFF here, that Johnson's top offensive coordinator entire the NFL, beating Kellen Moore, Bill O'Brien, and Eric Bieniemy, a current NFL head coach. Cincinnati's Zach Taylor was Goff's positional coach with the Rams, and he did not believe that the talented quarterback was on the decline. According to The Athletic, Taylor messaged Goff telling him he would love work with Johnson and that the coach would be great for him. He said even though Johnson wasn't his positional coach, Goff could pick his brain and trust him, and then he called Johnson one of the smartest people he has ever been around. Taylor saw something in Goff, others did not, and he knew something about Johnson that hardly anyone else could know. So now the tight ends coach and the quarterbacks were intertwined, and we all know what happened there. He became the Lions offensive coordinator, and the guy did a phenomenal job in 2023 and almost became a head coach for a team like the Carolina Panthers this last year. And I do agree that he is the best OC in all of football. I think he's better than Bieniemy. I think he is better than pretty much anybody out there. But that is my thought process here. So I want to know your thought process. Rank Ben Johnson in the NFL. 1 being the best, 32 being the worst. Should the Detroit Lions look to sign quarterback Malik Willis if he is released by the Tennessee Titans? Y for yes and N for no. As we get into this one right now, Malik Willis is a quarterback a lot of people talked about last year, good or bad. You have haters, you had lovers, you had people fall in love, and you had people that wanted to do the pitchfork. For me, it's neither of those. I look at the player as the player. And there's a possibility, rumors have been flying around, that the Tennessee Titans could look to go ahead and release the young quarterback from their football team as they're going in a different direction. And Malik Willis didn't do a whole lot with the football team last year with only 276 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a big whopping QBR of 12.4. We look at Malik Willis and what he brings. He is that mobile, the dual threat guy. He is the guy that's going to run around, but at the same time, he hasn't had a whole lot of playing experience. He has a whole lot of time in the NFL. This is his second year. And should the Lions look to go ahead and get a Malik Willis? My personal opinion here is no. Why is it no? Well, because the Lions drafted Hendon Hooker in round 3. Hendon Hooker is going to be the young developmental quarterback for the Detroit Lions. Malik Willis needs a lot of development, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense to have 2 developmental quarterbacks on a roster. Generally speaking, you want to have your veteran backup and a developmental quarterback along with your starter. Whether it be the developmental guy is on the practice squad or if he's on the 53, it doesn't really matter. That's generally how you want to have that done. So you can see if there is a future for another quarterback, right? Another young quarterback. And so we got that with Hendon Hooker. We really don't have a spot for a Malik Willis. Now, if you're a Malik Willis fan, I think there's other teams that potentially could get him, like a Seattle Seahawks. That would be a good spot for him, a place to develop. other teams that have veterans back there, maybe a team like the LA Rams, that could be something, or a team like the Las Vegas Raiders, but don't make a lot of sense for the Detroit Lions, considering the fact where he got that young guy. And you say, well, you could use him mobile in packages. You could use Hendon Hooker mobile in packages because he is mobile. He is a mobile quarterback. So for me, I'm not doing the love him, the hate him. I'm none of that. I'm going to give each player their respect. And I just don't see a spot for him with the Detroit Lions. That is what I see. So I'm going to ask you guys again in the comment section. Should the Detroit Lions sign Malik Willis if he is released by the Tennessee Titans? Let me know your thoughts. You could completely disagree with me and think I'm full of it, but why for yes and for no? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue on here. Training camp preview. Now, all Lions fan nation believes that the Detroit Lions defensive line is absolutely ready to dominate. They think they are. It says Alim McNeill, Isaiah Buggs, Benito Jones, Levi Onwuzurike, Broderick Martin compromise the interior of the defensive line. Meanwhile, on the edge, the Lions feature more than capable pass rushers, Aidan Hutchinson and James Houston, alongside fellow second-year player Joshua Paschall, and of course the Romeo Okwara brothers, John Cominsky and Charles Harris. Of these offensive line, no one's older than Charles Harris and Romeo Okwara at the age of 38. Reason for hope is Hutchinson and Houston has emerged as stars upon that line. Hutchinson, the product of University of Michigan, produced 9.5 sacks with 15 quarterback hits in 2022. He also logged 52 total tackles, including 9 for loss. Additionally, recorded 3 interceptions, 3 pass defense, and 2 fumble recoveries, becoming the first rookie in NFL history to put together a campaign of 7.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, and a pair of fumble recoveries. Then there's James Houston, who produced Jackson State, who was equally impressive the season ago. The 6'1", 225-pound defender, in fact, amazed at least 1 sack in each of his first 4 games and went a total notch of 8 sacks, 7 tackles, and a loss for 11 quarterback hits. Houston produced 7.5 sacks through his first 6 games, becoming the first player in NFL history to record that amount of sacks in such a span at the start of his career. He also became just the 5th player in league history to amuse both 6 sacks, forced fumbles, 6 career games since 1999. Hutchinson and Houston project to be one of the most exciting pass rushers in the league. But there is some downfall, and that is Levi Onwuzurike, whom the Lions drafted in the 2nd year. And he didn't do anything last year due to his injury. He didn't do anything in his first year because the guy has been absolutely injured nonstop for the Detroit Lions. And so that is a major cause for concern because we don't know what he's going to bring to the Detroit Lions. He is a player that, to me, I think the Lions could end up releasing. So that has caused concern. There is players you can look out and say who did really damn well. You may not have expected it last year, but that's John Cominsky. He was a really big piece of the Lions' defensive line as a veteran player. Same with Isaiah Buggs, who was an integral piece to the Lions' rotation. So there is pieces there for the Detroit Lions' defensive line to absolutely dominate. There is. And so I can understand why they put that out there. For me, for one more, I think if you had one more player, look, Quinnen Williams signed his big deal yesterday with the Jets. But if you got a player like his caliber, I think that the Detroit Lions defensive line would be a dominating force, one of the best in all of football. But I do think they can dominate. I think they can be a damn good defensive line. I just don't know if they can be one of those elite defensive lines as of yet. I think we're maybe about one draft away for that occurring. Getting another edge rusher, potentially alongside Aidan Hutchinson, a young player, and then you get a scary defensive tackle in there, maybe with your first-round pick. And then I think you'd have your defensive line that would be absolutely killer. We're talking about one of those defensive lines like the Lions had in 2011 with Ndamukong Suh, or if you look at what the Rams did with Aaron Donald when they had Suh, or the defensive line with Vita Vea in Ndamukong Suh. I know I keep saying Suh, but I'm just saying the dominating defensive lines that we've seen throughout football. I think we're just very close away, and I think the X factor here is Aaron Glenn. Can Aaron Glenn maximize what he has with the young players. We've seen with Aidan Hutchinson and James Houston, he showed he knows how to use these guys, and he did use them very well. Can he do that? Because the defense has been poor. It did get better last year as the season went along. But can you maximize all of your players on the defensive line? Can you get players to get in positions to see sack the quarterback like we'd like to see? That is yet to be seen. I think that there's definitely a positive that it can get done. Folks, I got a question for you guys. How many sacks will Aidan Hutchinson have in 2023? I have seen a lot of numbers thrown out there, a lot of 12s when I ask this question. I have 15. But do 1 through 25. You think he's going to absolutely be butt cheeks? You put 1. This guy's going to be the best defensive player in football. Put 25. I have 15 for me. I think that's how many sacks he can get in 2023. That's just my personal prediction. Yeah, hell, even do James Houston, how many sacks he can get? I'll put 12. I think James Houston can get up there and get 12. It's all about the snap count with him. We really don't know how many snaps he's going to get on defense. I'd like to see at least 50%. A big jump up there and given an opportunity to smack on the quarterback. But that is just me. Maybe you think a little bit different. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Folks, we are dropping videos literally every single day. And news is about to get hectic because training camp is nearly here. So, folks, if you have not hit that notification bell, I stress to you 100 times over, hit that notification bell for breaking news, for the latest in training camp updates, what took place, so you know what's going to happen. Hit the subscribe button. It does help out. With that said, folks, adios.